podcast, gente.
Ok.
Vamos lá. Tomar uma aguinha.
Tem que parar de tomar água.
Hey everybody, these are reflections around the impact of COVID-19 in our scene on Brazil edition. We've been invited by Coletivo Maricas from Barcelona to do this talk together as MAMBA NEGRA. MAMBA NEGRA is an independent party that happens in São Paulo most of the times. And we are part of an independent scene from the LGBTQ community. And with this talk, we are trying to bring some names and persons who are really important in this scenario and can bring some informations and discussions for us to organize ourselves for this big war and post-war. So here with us, we have on my left side, I don't know, on my left side, Eliabe from Bashku.
Hi.
Under him, we have, under Eliabe, we have Saskia, then Karen Cunha, and on the other column, Tiago Franco, Carmem Laveau, e Odre. So if you want to introduce yourself, please.
Who starts? Can I? Okay, so I'll start. Hi everyone, I'm Eliabe from Batiku. We see ourselves as a platform for young youth and a peripheral and Black community, LGBTQI. And we started out as a party only, but throughout the years and our impact in our communities, we now see ourselves more like as a platform and movement, because we understand that we not only work as parties at the night scene in Brazil, but also in different issues that our communities have. Batiku is currently has the main stage here in São Paulo, but we also operate in other 4 cities in Brazil. So we kind of have like this national overview of what's going on right now. And I'm very happy to be part of this conversation, because I think that it's very important that us as a community come together and share some ideas and also show to the people what we've been doing. And that's it. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay. Saskia, maybe?
Hi everyone, I'm Saskia. I'm a singer, producer, songwriter, and everything that relates to music. And I got 2 labels in down south Brazil, which is the last state of our country. I have 2 labels there and a collective of Black people. We have this thing about the last state of Brazil, which is the Black people are very separate of the white people at the downtown. So we have this almost like a segregation. So we make this collective to unite Black people in there. I have been living in São Paulo for like the past quarantine. And so I have been helping people in there to help to, deal with the situation in the art movement. And that's it. Thank you for inviting me. Sorry for the bad English.
No,
Also,
I think none of us have to feel sorry about the English, because we are having to do this interview in English because no one can understand Portuguese. So we don't have to be sorry about not speaking English. Everyone tries to speak English, but no one tries to speak Portuguese. So that's okay. Karen, Tiago, I think I can hear. Carmem, desculpa, Karen.
I'm Karen. I'm a consulting, curator, artistic director, project manager, and a lot of other things. But before that, I used to work for the City Hall in São Paulo with cultural affairs. My job there was to manage very big events like Carnival, like Virada Cultural, that's a 24 hours festival for millions of people and that kind of stuff.
Carmem e Audrey.
Oi, gente.
E aí, hi everyone.
Eu me chamo Carmem. Eu sou performer, atriz, produtora cultural e tanatopraxista.
She's an actress, performer, producer, and she deals with dead people. too.
Bem, eu tô aqui representando todas as duas coletividades que eu faço parte, que eu produzo, que é o Namíbia e a MARSHA, que é uma coletividade unicamente de pessoas trans.
She's here representing the two of collectives she's part of, that is Coletividade Namíbia and MARSHA. She works as a producer in both of them.
E bem, nós agora estamos tentando de várias formas construir possibilidades para a comunidade trans, não só dentro de São Paulo, mas em vários outros estados do país, para que de alguma forma a gente consiga atravessar esse momento de caos que estamos passando.
We are working.
A gente está tentando de alguma forma construir possibilidades para as pessoas trans.
We are trying to, in a lot of ways, trying to build and do expand the possibilities for trans people here in São Paulo and throughout the country.
And that's it. Thank you.
Bafo. Tiago.
Hey there, everyone. I'm sorry I'm having some internet issues. And I'm Tiago, and I am a promoter and an artist. So I can talk a little bit about both parts, like both sides. And I am the promoter of Sangra Muta. It's an LGBT party, and also an artist from MAMBA NEGRA. And which more? It's just to introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
É isso?
Okay.
So,
and no, I think it's fine. It's okay. Sorry, I'm just having those internet issues, and I'm a bit nervous because of that.
It's okay. Everyone's kind of nervous. In English, after so long, after all the tours canceled, after everything, we're kind of not prepared. We were supposed to be prepared, but we're not. Okay, so I am Laura Diaz, because I forgot to introduce myself, of course. And I am the co-founder of MAMBA NEGRA with Cachu, Carol Schutzer. And MAMBA NEGRA is an LGBTQ party ruled by women. And I'm also singer, producer, singer, musician, video maker. And I sing, I don't know, I perform, I compose for TETO PRETO right now, and for Angela Carnioso. So as an artist, I'm also Carnioso. I think that's it. I think I'm gonna speak more about MAMBA through this discussion. So let's start. The first thing is, how does COVID-19 affect your life or affects your work? I think it's more important for us to discuss first, like, what have changed in our collectives, in our parties that are not happening. And what's the perspective that we have, like, from this LGBTQ perspective, from the electronic independent scene? Because I think that here we're representing kind of this scene, if we can't try to figure out where are we. But of course we have many points of views, and that's what's interesting about this discussion. So how does it affect your life and your work, this reality of quarantine? How was it, and how it's been working on your daily routine?
I think I can start. I represent Batiku, and Batiku, it's, as I said, we started out as only making events at night for mostly Black peripheral LGBTQ community. We changed a little bit of like the way we work. So we were already trying to insert ourselves in different environments apart from the parties, but our main activity was always the parties. And with what happened with COVID-19 and the quarantine, what we saw is that everyone is in lockdown. Every parties that we had, every gig that we had planned for the next 3 months, they were all canceled. And that's our current situation. We are trying to understand and trying to, kind of change the way we think, and right now trying to see new things on the horizon, like what we can do, what kind of ways we can do different things, because our main activity, financial activity, is now gone. And it's a tough time. I think it's a tough time for everyone, because it's where where it comes our main income, right? And but we're still here. We as myself, as representing a Black community as well, we were always the ones that had to overcome any kind of issues and challenges, because we're always the last in the bottom of the pyramid. And once again, we have to work it out. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
It fucking sucks. I don't know if we can say fuck. Fuck, it sucks. I came to São Paulo, imagine a lot of projects, because I was built in a solo career, and I got to São Paulo with a lot of shit that I'm going to do, like bring Turmalina down south Brazil to São Paulo, so the Black people in there get acknowledged by the whole country. I had a lot of ongoing projects that I was going to start in São Paulo, and they were canceled and paused, and suddenly I couldn't do anything that I came here to do. But I'm also having this time talking to everyone that I know to figure ways of surviving this, because of the capital, because we need money. We fucking need money, and all of our projects that were involved at the art scene, and without the presence, we only have the online world, and the online world is so different to profit with.
Yeah.
And we are all, organizing to help each other, the ones that still have money, to give a little to this collective, so the collective can divide between the artists. Yeah, I see that's everybody doing this.
I don't know. This is another discussion also, but I always think a kind of thing that obviously is super necessary, that we made like promotions and discounts on Bandcamp and campaigns to buy and to buy our scene, our local scene music, to try to help the artists. But I have the feeling that this doesn't help us so much. We always kind of need like from an income that is more trustable, that brings more resources to more people, because see from this crisis that MAMBA Negra or Batiku or Sangra Muta or many other parties represent something that is much more than the party itself. It's a network. It's literally a network. And it's independent because we always are auto-financed, because we can speak to some sponsors or to some labels, like some business makers, but they never give us what we really need, like autonomy, and they don't pay what we're giving to them, you know, never pay this. So we always depend, like most of the times, of the party itself to generate the money that is going to pay the party and pay the artists, and etc.
In the end of all we do, the party is always the rentable part, you know, the one that we can make money out of it, because we can sell, you know, drinks and the tickets and many things like showing art and physical art and presential art as well. Is always the end of it.
Carmem,
And also because that's where we give jobs to people also, right?
Eu acho que é muito importante a gente pontuar, para além de tudo isso que acontece na cena eletrônica.
I think it's very important for us to make it clear that besides everything that happens in the electronic scene,
a gente também pontuar como tudo isso que está acontecendo afeta a vida de muitas pessoas trans.
We need to see that everything that is happening right now affects lots of lives of trans people in Brazil.
Que são boa parte também do nosso público.
That are the most part of our public.
E que nesse momento, que quer dizer, que antes disso, viviam em situação de, por exemplo, precisar trabalhar na rua com prostituição para tentarem se manter de alguma forma.
And those people in the moment before that needed to work in the streets and sell their bodies, I mean prostitution, for as a way to live.
E entendendo isso, por exemplo, nós da MARSHA,
understanding that we from MARSHA,
entendendo como isso afeta a nossa comunidade, a gente está agora tentando encontrar formas, possibilidades efetivas.
Understanding the way it affects our community, we're trying to find ways and possibilities that really work.
De auxílio para essas pessoas. Então, no meu caso,
on how we can really help those people. In her case,
como o Covid afeta a minha vida, é encontrar uma nova forma de possibilitar algo melhor para essas pessoas, sabe? Que antes disso,
COVID affects our lives, and we need to find new ways to help those people, because before that, the situation
já era muito mais difícil e muito mais precário de todas as áreas, incluindo dentro da cena eletrônica de São Paulo.
It was already rough and really hard for these people to get jobs, including the electronic scene in São Paulo.
Eu acho que é isso.
I think it's that's it.
I think that the music scene, it happens that it gives a lot of people a way to survive, and without that, not only the artists are being affected. Everyone is being affected, because there's many people that surround the scenes with different and parallel works, and it's all affected.
Karen, how can you give us like a point of view or a perspective of how does it affects like the city hall and Secretaria da Cultura? How does it is translated?
Like a Department of Cultural Affairs, maybe.
Secretary
of
Culture. Karen.
They are not doing much of stuff. Like they had the Virada Cultural, it's canceled. Actually, it's postponed, but we know that will be canceled. They have like some live gigs and the kind of stuff like with electronic music, I think like Galeria Olido with Claudia Sef are now going to do some live things. I mean, it's terrible because in the city they don't have like the power to make a lot of stuff, like to provide a financial aid or something like this, you know. And the federal, I mean, we don't have a president, so
Yeah, that joke.
they really don't care about us.
Yeah.
Yes. And how I don't know, but maybe we could speak also about other cities or other perspectives, because many times when people speak about Brazil, there are direction for São Paulo. They are São Paulo centered or Southeast centered. And we know there are many other cities that are important cultural polos, I don't know, are important cultural cores that are always feeding what is happening right now, what we mean like electronic LGBTQ independent culture, you know, because it's always very complicated for us to even identify ourselves, maybe because we are articulated in many senses, but at the same time, when we see like a COVID-19 situation or a war situation, we see how restricted we are at the same time. But I think that we are connected. So maybe we could speak about Pará, Belém do Pará, Recife, Belo Horizonte, Porto Alegre mesmo, Rio de Janeiro. We have many other cities that are affected and are really important for our daily routine in cultural production. So you want to speak something about the city you are connected with?
In Porto Alegre, people are already articulating stuff besides the live. Because when the quarantine started, everyone just went crazy on the internet, like, let's just live the shit up, and all the big major companies asking DJs to do lives without any concern about how they survive, which was their main profitable work. And people in there are articulating to the communities, like the poor communities, I'm gonna call them that because there are many different kinds of, and people are gathering donations to these people, and people that have not the same possibilities and access to do a safe quarantine and have the medical assistant and everything that you need to have on the quarantine. People are gathering, you know, to make donations about that. People are organizing in there. And I feel that I feel that Porto Alegre is not suffering as much as, I don't know, because there, when you have a city that has a large scene, you have this large scene to, you know, to support them, to support the people that depend on that scene. And there's a lot of city that doesn't have that strong scene with articulated people to, you know, prevent organizations to donate stuff, you know. So I think Porto Alegre has the scene and has the people organizing to support, but I think in Brazil we have so many different towns that we are not thinking about that doesn't have a scene and doesn't have the support, this organization.
Eu acho que eu posso falar um pouco sobre o que eu tenho visto. Eu sou carioca.
She thinks she needs to talk a little bit of her scene. She's from Rio de Janeiro.
E a situação que se encontra lá, para além do movimento... Tá travando?
No, it's okay.
No. It's okay now.
A situação que está acontecendo lá, para além de um movimento da cena cultural,
the situation happening there, besides the movements of culture,
está sendo extremamente preocupante, porque dentro das periferias, dentro das favelas,
is being extremely worrying because inside of peripheral places in favelas,
A gente está com... Nunca tivemos uma atuação do governo dentro dela.
We've never had a government action for this.
A não ser a polícia entrando para dar tiros em todo mundo.
Beside the police going there and shot everybody.
E agora a situação se agrava porque não existe saúde básica dentro das favelas, então a população está morrendo por causa do vírus.
The situation gets worse because there is no public health care in the favelas, so the population is dying a lot in there.
E, além disso, a polícia continua invadindo esses espaços para continuar matando essas pessoas.
And the police keeps entering those places to keep killing people.
Que são pessoas pretas, pessoas que não têm condições de se manterem dentro das suas casas totalmente, porque precisam continuar mantendo uma renda.
These people that are going through this are black people that cannot be inside of their houses because the need of keep having an income.
E é uma situação extremamente complicada, porque por mais que de algum lado exista uma possibilidade de apoio cultural,
it's complicated. It's very complicated because in one hand you have a movement to bring culture to these people.
Esse apoio ele é completamente direcionado para áreas já muito valorizadas, sabe? Isso não entra dentro das favelas.
The resources that come to those movements, those cultural movements, do not enter the favela, just the privileged places.
Eu acho que essa é a situação mais agravante que nós temos, além da política, né? O governador do Brasil o governador do Rio de Janeiro é um grande assassino. E acho que a situação no Rio de Janeiro está assim, caoticamente triste.
Whittle is, I don't know how to say this in English, governor.
Criminal.
He's a big killer, and it only gets worse in this whole situation.
Yeah.
I think it's important to say that the federal government in Brazil is denying the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And saying that's a fake and a political ambush. So people are dying, and instead of doing something, the president is visiting the country, not wearing masks and saying coronavirus is communist lie. And he just fired the Minister of Health.
Yes.
Because he was pro quarantine, and he just hired another one that was pro open the business as quick as possible. So people are not talking about right now.
That Bolsonaro was trying to interfere in federal police investigations because everything indicates that Bolsonaro and his family, his holy family, are involved on the militias that are paramilitary groups that can do the illegal stuff because they're not inside the corporation like officially, but they are. And they're really present on the situation that Carmem was bringing us about Rio de Janeiro, because the discussions that we are seeing in politics and that have this disguise of ethics or of moral or of religion, we know that it's not just it, but it's the militias and the groups that are inside the institutions negotiating somehow with the criminal organized crime, like openly. We know that we see stuff happening in Pará on the prisons in Pará, like since last year, we can think about also the COVID situation in the penitentiaries of Brazil, and it's also something terrifying because it's just a genocide. It's clearly a genocide because the president is saying to people and using the moral of God and the work and the Protestant ethic on the workers, on workers class, and basically saying that they have to work to bring the bread to the table, to bring food to their child. But we know that this population is really vulnerable. We don't have even like, it's like sanitary basic stuff for most of the population, and not far from us.
And we see the whole world talking about COVID, and we got our president talking about himself and about how he's getting away with it, and fuck it, he's the man of the hour, and he's not even using this like cleverly to, you know, oh, I'm helping you all with the COVID. He just say fuck it. I
wanted to discuss on the next topic about the I don't know how to say auxílio, Karen. How
aid.
Aid. So
financial aid.
Yes, the government disponibilized this emergency aid that goes from 600 reais to 1,020 to 1,000 and 1,200, como que eu falo?
1,200.
1,200 reais to mothers with child. So you can you give some feedback about your experiences about this, and what do you think about it, and how do you think that the population is accessing or not this aid?
This is less than 100 euros. I mean, 600 reais, it's not possible to pay a rent with 600 reais. And people are not, now they have like a logistical problem to make this money goes to the population. So nobody can actually receive this money. So it's insane. And if you are like a creative professional, you're not like allowed to receive this money because it's for, how can I say that? This money is only be granted to those who have a really low monthly income. So if you are a creative professional, are not well received, you are not well received in this country, especially in this government. And if you have like, if you are a DJ, a performer, a musician, you are just screwed. If you have a small business like a club, you don't have any help and support at this moment. So
I'd like to say something about it, because my community itself, as I said, is mostly from the peripheral parts of the city. So I understand that, for example, when this aid came up, the idea was to help people, but it's not everyone who is getting it, mostly because they are not included in the package somehow, as Karen said, or either it's not working at all. So there's a lot of people with the access of the application where you can just like go and subscribe and try to receive the money, but this money is not reaching people because they have like technical problems. They also have like a long lines in banks in Brazil right now, and I would say the criteria are not very clear. So that's the main issue, because I know it's 600 reais, which is very little, but for some people, they are still like an income, because there are some people who work on the streets selling fruits or whatever, or even us as like artists, independent artists, like, you know, in this community, But if we made money 2 years ago, we're not able to get this money right now, or these people, they're not being able to receive the money somehow. So it's very a gray area, this help from the government.
We never had like rights or some insurance or something like this that comproves that for the institutions that we were working like for 10 years, like this is what it means to be independent, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have like an insurance or a salary or something like this to get your back, but you were working and you're working your ass off, you know, but right now you have like kind of nothing. But to try to close the topic a little bit, and maybe
I have this thing about the women community though that I really want to speak about, which is a problem about this aid that the government has, because you have this specific aid for women with child, which is more money for women that raise their child. And I heard some story that guys, you know, the fathers of the kids, wrapping up the kid to have the money, so the women cannot have that. So there are being some ladies that cannot raise their child, the fathers are taking their money. This is a very and the women delegacies are closed, so they cannot complain about.
It's terrifying because we see that is a populist measure, just for the spectacle, and going to be really expensive for the government. And we begin to listen to this fucked up stories about who got the access to the aid and who weren't able. Because also to get the aid, you gotta have like many stuff settled in order with the institutions and with legality. Like you have to have your voting comprobations of every election, every past election. Like you have to have your vote justified. You have to have your CPF. There is another document also regular. You have to have a phone line that was because
if you live on the street, you can't download an app.
And maybe, most probably you're gonna get money if you have a bank account.
No,
I think you have to submit yourself to this huge line is on the few agencies.
They create a bank account. If you are allowed to receive this money, the government create a bank account.
Okay. On the fact,
I think that have to go in the middle of a quarantine to a bank.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that to sum it up, this main issue we are having is that the government, through this aid as a way to calm people down with everything that is going on, but actually it's not working for everyone, and the government it's still is making more, giving more benefits to banks, for example, in Brazil, aiding more banks than people, which is like kind of crazy. So you give more access to rich parts of the society and less access to actually the people who are going to be dying first. So I think that's the main, one of the problems that we're facing right now. And also because the political situation in our country, it's a big mess. And we are dealing with a lot at the same time. The political crisis, like an economic crisis, and the pandemic. So it's a really, really hard time for everyone.
They build a system that doesn't include everyone, like every other system. But in the pandemic, people will actually die.
Yes. I'm sorry.
And we still have someone saying that it's not a pandemic. It's like it's just a flu, and people need to feed their kids. So it's okay to go out to the streets and work because they need to feed their families.
Yes, because they basically it's forcing people to if you want to feed your child, you have to put yourself at risk of dying. Like
Yeah.
this, like, 'cause this is the only option that you have. You don't have any support. You don't have minimal conditions to do the sanitary stuff that you at the hygienization of your home or of your food or of everything. And I'm sorry, but I really gotta take a pee because I was drinking a lot of water. Okay, I'm
That's
gonna do
okay.
my best.
What do we do? Do we wait for you?
Yes, yes.
We can keep practicing our English.
Can continue discussing?
I think that's a cue for all of us go to pee.
Yes, I'm going to. I'm going to.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what to do if I just talk a bit with those people, but Karen, are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk us.
We are here.
First of all,
I can see you if you don't talk. I don't know how to configure Zoom, actually, sorry.
you're not seeing me?
No, now I'm seeing. Yeah. And Carmem? Okay. Okay, let's change the topic. I don't know, people are not here, so we have to talk a bit for people to see that. And the problem is like huge in Brazil, and we don't even know how to help those people. I think it's important to know the problems and to know that people are dying, and those people dying are chosen people, selected people to die, because white people like me in Brazil and medium class people here have much more access to healthy system and to survive. And even for us, it's not easy, really not easy. Like, I don't have money to pay for my rent for the next month, but I'm alive and I have something to eat. So I have the basics, and most part of people in Brazil don't have these basic things. And into that scenario, like a privileged people, and to have food is a privilege right now.
You're at
I was
home.
figuring out,
Privilege.
yeah, I was figuring out what to do with my time and with my life and how to help people. And into the electronic scene, I had an idea to create an online festival. I don't know what I will take with that, but I'm sure that I will make some connections, and those connections are not just into the privileged people and just the white people on electronic scene. And there is people all around the country, like from northeast, from south, like there is, I think, 15 cities around Brazil. And what I saw is there are some cities and there are some collectives like us, like in northeast, for example, that even can't record a DJ set because they don't have a computer.
Yes.
And it's crazy.
I don't have a controller.
To face that reality. Yeah. And to understand, I think for I'm talking about those privileged white people, because this is my space here, what I can share with you. And
there's a lot of people.
It's really tough to figure out how to help during this moment. And this is my big issue right now, because I just have the basics and I can help. So I think the only way to help is about feelings and words, and to care a bit, and I don't know, to share some food. That's what I'm doing.
Deixa eu dar uma faladinha, amiga.
Fala.
Eu, por exemplo, não tive a oportunidade de tentar entender o que eu poderia fazer nessa situação.
Saying she didn't have the opportunity to understand what she could do to help in the situation.
Para além de mim, existem muitas outras pessoas passando por situações extremamente vulneráveis.
Besides of her, there's a lot more of people that are going through vulnerable situations.
E nesse sentido de não ter escolha, é porque se eu não fizesse nada que revertesse alguma coisa, não só para mim, mas para a maioria das minhas, a gente ia morrer.
She meant that what means don't have a choice of doing something is because if she didn't have organized to do something, a lot of people, trans people, would be dying right now.
Porque a gente não está morrendo nesse momento só com o vírus.
We're not dying in this moment just with the virus.
As porcentagens de violência contra pessoas trans e travestis nas ruas de São Paulo e do Brasil inteiro aumentaram 1000%, se a gente for colocar assim.
The percentage of violence against trans people here in São Paulo, but in the entire country, have increased 1,000%, if you know what we mean, because there isn't a way to count this.
Porque...
Domestic violence as well has raised.
Yes, domestic violence, yes, also.
E é isso, tipo, a gente não tem mais oportunidade de pensar em possibilidades. A gente tem que, tipo, a gente precisa pensar em possibilidades, óbvio, mas a gente agora tem que agir.
Agir.
It's not just about thinking about possibilities, it's time to do something, to act.
Yes,
Yeah.
We're already discussing the next topic that Tiago somehow initiated. That is like, what is your community doing to help each other? I think that we're kind of discussing it. Yeah. Also from a privileged point of view and from a privileged perspective in the social meaning. I think that I agree a lot with what Carmem was saying, that we're trying to bring resources to all of us, to our scene. Because we're not thinking about we have no other choice, you know. That's how we exist. That's how we built this scene. So from MAMBA NEGRA, we changed a lot, of course, of our routine, and we began to focus the work on the label, on MAMBA Hack. So we were trying to do in a really low budget way, obviously, the releases of many artists this year, and many queridos artists. And besides MAMBA Hack, that is the kind of way that we found to adapt our work and still be part of the life of people in quarantine and etc. That's also a platform to develop this musical work scenario that we're always struggling to be like professionalized and to monetize our work, because we still depend on YouTube or I don't know, the owner of Amazon that owns everything. I never know.
Where are the rich people in Brazil? I ask you.
Yes, I know that there are few of them, and if we kill them, I can't. But it's few people to kill. Never heard me speaking this. But okay,
I would
just to go to sorry for the joke. It was a joke. MAMBA is trying to get their money back from the few sponsors that we have, and we try to plan like a list of people that were more vulnerable and were in the core of MAMBA, from staff of cleaning and securance, women and trans people. We also made a list of people from MAMBA NEGRA, of performers, staff, technical staff, and production staff, everyone that we could like say that is really with us and is working with us for a long time. And we just got the opportunity of make a live with Boiler Room. That we have many critics about the action of Boiler Room, but also it's been a partner somehow that we are trying to develop a healthy relationship. So
I wanted to.
This will come in June. Of course, it takes some time, but at the same time, when it comes, I think it's gonna be kind of huge for us, because we don't see me and Kashur, we do Mamba Negra, that it's our party, it's not like a collective or something that people are denying. We are a group of people and we have like the production core and everything, but we exist because the scene exists. So
Yeah.
it's really going to think, we're also with this money of that we're going to have, we're going to donate to 2 institutions that exist. That one is Casa Florescer, that is an institution for trans people, and Casa also, that is making a campaign. So of course we're not like doing much, but we're doing more than the government, you know. And I'm not saying this for personal publicity. It's like, and many other parties, we know the names, right? Bachiku. We know the names of the guys, of the white guys that should be doing this also, because they access the sponsors and everybody, and we're kind of tired of getting like this small money to split between everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for me,
what we are doing to help each other, that's the topic. Like
for me as Batiku as well, like first of all, I'd like to say something about MARSHA. It's really impressive what the girls did. They came up with an idea and they did it so fast. They executed so fast. I think they were the first ones to say, that's the thing that Carmen said. We didn't have the opportunity to think about because we had to survive. So we had to do something. And this, for me, it's my main inspiration. And I can say about Batiku as well, because it's really hard. Because like the sponsors, they want people who bring something to their companies. So they want the big famous artists already that we know that are also getting some money to put their faces there, while the small parts of the community, like us, these collectives that actually work for the communities, it's really hard for us to get someone to sponsor us and do these lives or create a product itself. Doesn't matter what, to create something that we can actually share the profits with our community, because we know that we are the first ones to suffer. Black people, LGBTQ people, we are the first ones to suffer whenever those kind of situations happen. So as Batiku, what we are doing right now is like creating a plan to execute hopefully by the next 2 weeks, so we can share the profits with, first, our staff, our extended staff, because we don't do parties only with artists, but we have the cleaning staff, the technical staff, everyone who puts the party together, but it's not actually seen and praised as the artists do. And the artists, they do have like somehow more exposure, so it's kind of easier for them. Not easier, but it's kind of a network. Yeah, because of the network, it makes easier for them to profit somehow. But what about the rest? And that's what we're trying to do right now, to execute a plan to directly help the staff who has always been with us, and secondly, the communities that we're part of. So, and these institutions that are constantly working to provide for the more marginalized communities here. So, for example, the institutions who work directly with the trans community, I think that's the first priority always. As Carmen said, the trans community is the first one to suffer. and also the peripheral parts of the city here. So that's what we're trying to do right now. We are coming up with some also other ideas where we can put projects online, because that's the only thing we can do, and how we can profit, how we can approach the companies so they can kind of like sponsor us to put this content online and get something. Yeah, so that's where we are at the moment in Batiku.
I'm speaking for a lot of collectives down South Brazil in Porto Alegre. So as Turmalina, the Black Collective, Plano, Base, all the music collectives are gathering to do this online party that people buy tickets to. And they had this idea for helping the staff, because the major thing is the staff, not the artist. And we are making them profit as too. We are selling their drinks that are not being sold, and giving the full profit for them. And there's also this collective called Frente Quilombola, which is a collective of Black people not from the art scene. It's very important because our network is built with artists, and the major thing is to access non-artist people, non-DJs, and the staff and the peripheral people. This idea of having the drinks sold, it has a problem of delivering it. So we are talking also as with deliver apps and people in that scene, because I wrote this recently, that we are dividing ourselves into buyers and sellers and clients and deliverers, and there's this whole people that doesn't have how to survive in this time, so they are delivering stuff, and we are helping these people as well to do the work so we can all survive.
I just wanted to add something else. I think it's really important to the most privileged part of the population of the society. I think it's important to think how you actually can help out us as the representation of these communities, because what I see is that people get really comfortable with their current situation. I'm not suffering, I'm at home, so that's my only job, to stay at home. If I stay at home, things are gonna get better. No, people are still dying. So don't feel comfortable with your situation. And I think that this is important as well for people outside Brazil to understand how it is right now. The government doesn't give us any kind of support. The artists, the people who live with their artistry, we are totally fucked here. So if we do a live show, if we do sell something, if you know my collective, if you know any of the collectives who are part of this live, try to help. Your money is worth more than ours. If you're in Europe, if you're in the US. So get in touch, try to see what else you can do, how you can donate, because every little part matters right now. And
and more than donations, we want opportunities to develop the contents that we are already developing. And that is already feeding up a lot of agencies and publicitary agencies, I don't know how to say. This underground culture is always producing and reinventing itself, because it's a matter of life and death. And we gotta do this, and we gotta build these safe places and spaces to be leaders, to be artists, to be producers, to be everything.
Então eu queria falar um pouquinho sobre a MARSHA.
Let's talk a little bit about MARSHA.
Nós somos um coletivo unicamente formado por pessoas trans.
We're a collective only with trans people as a member.
Nós já atuávamos em São Paulo com festas também, mas com outros projetos sociais.
We had parties in São Paulo, but with also another projects going on.
E dentro dessa situação de pandemia, nós tivemos esse pensamento de ação do que nós precisávamos fazer.
Inside of this pandemic situation, we had these thoughts about what we needed to do.
E nós desenvolvemos um festival online chamado MARSHA Entra na Sala.
And we developed a online festival called MARSHA Entra na Sala.
Com mais de 47 artistas no line-up.
With more of 47 artists in the lineup.
E nós enfrentamos dificuldades gigantescas com essas outras instituições.
And we faced huge complications with these other institutions.
E as únicas instituições que entraram com parcerias e patrocínios com o nosso festival foram instituições de pessoas trans.
And the only companies that sponsored us and were partners of us was another trans companies.
E além disso, nós desenvolvemos um financiamento coletivo.
And besides that, we did a collective fund
que ultrapassou a meta dele.
That how can I say this?
Richard.
Reached the ai meu Deus.
Yes. Overreached the goal, yes.
E nós conseguimos garantir um cachê digno para todos os artistas que estiveram dentro do festival.
We could pay a good payment for the artists that were part of the festival.
E 100 cestas básicas para pessoas trans em extrema vulnerabilidade.
And 100 a part of groceries thing, basic things as cleaning products and food for 100 of trans people.
Isso tudo só foi possível com a parceria com a Casa Chama, que é uma instituição de pessoas trans daqui de São Paulo também.
Everything of this was only possible because there was this partnership with Casa Chama, that is another collective and company here in São Paulo,
que criou um fundo de emergência para auxiliar pessoas trans em extrema vulnerabilidade e também pessoas trans em situação de cárcere.
That created a emergency fund to help trans people here and trans people that are in the jail. Can I say this?
Então é muito importante o que a Eliabe falou, de vocês, pessoas que têm esse acesso e todo esse privilégio, que nesse momento, de alguma forma, vocês contribuam efetivamente com as nossas produções.
It's very important, as Eliabe said, that you that have all this access and money to help us to build our productions.
Porque isso está auxiliando vidas. Isso está fazendo as pessoas conseguirem se manter de muitas formas diferentes.
Because it helps people to stay alive and continue to do their productions in a lot of ways.
E aqui no Brasil existem vários outros movimentos também de pessoas trans espalhados pelo país.
Here in Brazil there is a lot of other movements of trans movements around the country.
Que de alguma forma estão se conectando nesse momento para que essa rede cresça mais.
That some way are connecting to in this moment for make this network get bigger and bigger.
E o auxílio a essas vidas consiga ser muito maior e mais efetivo.
And the help to all trans people to be larger and more effective.
E é isso, tipo, nesse momento somos nós por nós, porque realmente nós já não tínhamos nenhum auxílio do governo ou do privilégio branco, não é? E agora nesse momento a gente está conseguindo.
It's for us. We never had a aid from the government, or we couldn't have the same thing of people, white people, in this privilege.
E agora a gente está conseguindo de alguma forma materializar todas essas possibilidades, mesmo dentro do caos.
We are somehow we're somehow making it real, all these possibilities, even though it's a chaos.
Porque nós, pessoas trans, já vivíamos um isolamento social muito antes disso.
Because trans people lived a isolation situation a long before this. And that's it.
True.
I cried.
Chic.
Thank you, Carmem. And well, I think that we have like 5 minutes left. So I think that Carmem already introduced us to like an end, because she spoke a lot like in practical matters about what we can do. And as artists, as people, as persons. And okay, so to get to the end of the discussion, I would like to ask for a round of answers of 2 questions. Of how did COVID improve your life? You can be pessimistic, you can answer whatever you want to. And I decided to keep this question because I thought it was really funny, like a foreigner question. So I think it would be funny for us to answer. How did COVID-19 perhaps improved your life? In the end, like what you think or what you're doing and what you're focused on, what you think that you can do for this future of our community, of our scene. Like, what is the project that you're focusing, or what you're trying to do, like to not get crazy, or to get crazy in a good way, and thinking about this future and our collective scenario. So maybe we can do on the anti-horário.
Any clock? I start?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say what I'm doing here to not get crazy, because I am privileged to be at home at the moment. So first of all, I'm not leaving my house because I respect the lives that are out there. And I think that the most important thing that I can do, the minimal, not most important, but the minimal thing I can do right now is to respect other lives that are there doing something, so I can stay at home. So, but I know that it's kind of very crazy what we are facing at the moment. So some days we wake up very depressed. Some other days we wake up and we want to do something. Some other days we wake up very angry. So what I try to do in my daily life, my daily routine here, is try to put something, like one small goal, so I can have, like, you know, a meaning to do. Besides, like, the ideas that I have at work, that I'm doing these lives and these conversations. But for example, I do a very simple thing, which is waking up in the morning and making my daily juice with the things that I have at home, trying to exercise a little bit, sing a little bit, and talk to my friends, see how my family is, and be in touch with people constantly, because you never know what's going on through what they're going through. I don't think that COVID improved my life, I would say, but I think that it made us think more about the things that we did in our lives in a wrong way, or the things that we took for granted before, and now as we're living this moment, you feel like it's so important to have the very little things that we could do, to go out at home, to see our friends, our family, to be able to work, those kind of things. I think that we are kind of like more self-conscious at the moment, and it's very good. I don't know what is going to happen in the future, if everything goes back to normal or not, but what I take out of this situation is to be more I forgot the word, but to be more to think more, to be more thankful for the things that I have, for the opportunities that I have.
Great. Saskia?
Well, I'm an entertainer, so a lot of people, a lot of my so-called fans, followers, they really ask me every day, please do some more of what you doing because it's saving my life. So I'm entertaining everyone the way that I can. I know it's little. I have helped small communities in Porto Alegre with money because I came with São Paulo with some structure, and there's a lot of people in there that doesn't have the structure, so I'm helping them as much as I can. And my focus is to connect people with my network, because with my work, with my solo work, I have built this network of people that believe in me and believe in my work. So I put in this other names into it, and trying to get access to people that doesn't have the same access as I do. So I'm trying to, do something with my name, because it's mostly all that I got, and I'm helping all the collectives that I believed in. And I don't know if it improved my life, but it changed, and it opened some doors in my mind to things that I didn't do because I was too busy doing music. So I'm doing this other stuff and starting having dialogue about this other stuff and things that really matter, and giving people space for me to hear them, because people want to be heard from me. They want my opinion. Sometimes they want this, they just want motivation to keep going on this isolation situation. And I'm trying to help people stay faithful that we can survive this, and we are not alone, people are not alone. And I'm really doing a lot of art production. And just throwing in there, because my goal is not to get the money for me. I want to get the money for people. So I'm starting to organize these projects that can sell real physical products, so we can gain money to the communities that are not privileged. So I'm trying to reach something outside the underground network and bring people that really need to this network that help each other. And that's only about communication and help, survival mostly.
Kari?
COVID didn't improve my life at all. I mean, I feel more grateful for everything. Like, I have a place to live. It's huge. I can just stay here. My family is healthy. I'm surrounded by good people, amazing people. When I saw like MARSHA festival, I was like, oh my God, I just called Ana Gisele to say, I don't know what to say to you. Just I'm here to do whatever you need me to do. But I feel like at this time a little bothered when I listen people making bread at their home, talking about how this life is, this is a life changing experience, how the world will be better, etc. And I just remember that are people dying, Instead of age, social class starts to define who dies of COVID in this country. It makes me sick. After that, probably rich will get richer, It's not like, oh my God, everything is going to be amazing. No, I don't think so, seriously. And if we don't do anything, the small players in creative business will just disappear.
Yeah.
I read those reports about what's next, the new normal, the future of music business, and I feel that people should listen a little bit more, observe, instead of trying to predict the future. It's at the same time, we need to use this experience to make our lives better, but not better, but better for everybody, not just us.
Yeah.
It won't be better if I'm okay, but everybody's fucked. I mean, but despite of doing physical distance, it's very important to keep the social life active. I never feel lonely. I'm always talking to someone, having a good time, listening to good music. Thank you, Saskia. Thank you, Batico, MAMBA. I mean, I think that now we should focus on that. We are not dancing together, but we need to stay connected. People still want to meet new people when it's not going to end, you know? Even everything is fucked, but people still want to meet new people, meet each other, meet their friends, listen to good music. And we know how to promote this. So we should focus on that. That's it.
Tiago?
I think people talk it about all, and I don't know, it didn't improve my life at all, of course not, but I try to find a way to survive, and not just a body, but as a mind too, as an artist, as a promoter, and it just fucked my life, of course, but what I'm doing is to think about I'm not really fucked. There's people in vulnerable situation, and everyone is most part of people that I know is in a worse situation than mine. And so what I did since the beginning of the quarantine is just to meditate and to think with myself, what can I do to help those people? So I learned about the importance of the connections, and not just the business connections, not just networking, but about the care connection, you know. I learned to listen more, I think so. And I don't have any money to help someone, but I have my heart. And this is a lesson that I discovered, to don't be so into material things, but to hold people, and of course virtual hold, but to listen, to open your heart, and in a way. And I really want to care this after the crisis, if the crisis stops. And I don't know how much it takes, but during this time, I think for a person like me, it's an obligation to get out of this as a better person, and try to find ways for other persons. That's it.
Thank you. Carmem and Audrey?
Bem, o vírus de nenhuma forma melhorou minha vida, e nem de nenhuma das nossas.
The virus obviously didn't improve any of our lives,
Mas realmente mudou as nossas formas de pensar e agir.
but really changed our ways to think and act.
E o que eu acredito, como de alguma forma isso mudou para mim, como eu poderia, de uma forma muito mais ampla, poder auxiliar outras vidas que estão em situações muito piores do que a minha.
And she thinks, how can she help lives that are in so much vulnerable, more vulnerable than her,
apesar da minha também ser uma situação extremamente vulnerável.
despite her situation it's a lot vulnerable too, in a lot of ways.
E eu acho que o pensamento que a gente precisa ter nesse momento,
The thing we need to think about now,
é de realmente união.
it's something about union, really union.
Para além de nós, pessoas trans, mas de todas as comunidades e todas as possibilidades que as pessoas podem gerir.
Not just we trans people, but all communities and all possibilities that people can be in the middle of.
Esse momento está sendo muito importante para mim ter as minhas irmãs do meu lado.
This moment is being very important to me to have my sisters around me.
Não só fisicamente,
Not only physically,
porque eu praticamente moro com 2 irmãs minhas.
because I practically live with 2 sisters.
A outra tá ali.
The other one is in the bed.
Oi!
E isso tem me fortalecido muito e me ajudado muito a continuar construindo.
This makes me stronger and help me a lot to continue to build
formas de ajudar muitas outras que estão distantes.
Ways to help a lot of other trans people that are not so close.
Então eu tenho focado muito em trabalhar para que essas coisas aconteçam.
She's very focused on working to get these things done.
E me conectar às minhas que estão próximas de mim.
And to connect the close ones to her.
E eu acho que é isso. Eu acho que a gente precisa pensar.
And that's it. We need to think.
Em cada vez mais estarmos unidas e nos ajudando.
On how can we be more united and how can we help each other more.
Yeah.
Carmem for president.
Yeah!
I vote.
Vote for Carmem.
Can I say one last thing, Laura?
Yes.
I think that the cultural movement is finally making people survive in this time. Not just the care, not just the money, and not just the entertainment, but we are the ones that are really focusing and to connect who needs it. We are not thinking about ourselves in the quarantine. We are thinking about the whole Brazil that needs it. And we have this, we are using our power of network and our Brazilian cultural movements to help them.
And I think that people are thinking a lot more about when you say that you're an artist, people say, oh, okay, he's my friend that doesn't do anything. But now,
we're
beginning to understand that yes, we do a lot of stuff, and we save your ass, we save your soul while we're
save your mental health.
Mental health, yeah.
That's what we are doing now, saving people's mental health, because that we are creating for people to consume. And if we didn't create, there would be nothing to consume.
Not
and
just
people
that,
are now
but we're caring for people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Caring for people. People are not alone with us.
Yeah. Yes.
I feel really represented by my previous não sei como falar, gente. What you said earlier, and to think as obviously COVID didn't improve my life or any other life, but I gotta think always as a person, as an artist, and as a producer. And I'm always trying to get some I don't know, some bright side from all this privilege. And I feel like that is my duty at the same time that I'm a white girl. I have lots of privilege in Latin America right now, and especially in Brazil, in São Paulo, during this isolation period. As a person, I'm trying to be more I'm being more self-conscious, and I think that people are beginning to be more self-conscious because they don't think about the service stuff that they use. Usually people don't use this, don't think about it, but they love to have like an anti-colonialist talking about not being racist and stuff. So for me, and I always lived with some other people, and it's always an educational experience, and I think it's good for everyone, because I think that people are having the opportunity to put the talk in action. Also, people are beginning to think more about what they're eating, and that's really important because that's the money you spend also on huge business and huge stuff that we know that we can't control. As an artist, I try to focus on the composition of the next album for TETO PRETO.
I just licked it. I want everyone right now.
And obviously,
so much, MAMBA Negra. We miss so much.
Oh my God!
We have a single that is coming out. It's called Tu Cuerpo es una Armada.
Woo!
Yeah, it's gonna come out in a good time for it. So I try to focus, and I love this crisis situation and really dramatical situation too, right? Because I'm really intense. So bate mais. As a person, I was also like getting used like for 3 years, also 4 years, like since MAMBA was born, I got used to work more than have the money. So MAMBA is not like the main income of my life. I pay my life playing and selling my performance. You know, not saying just sell my body for an hour, because we sell ourselves. Yes, entirely. Yes, I don't see.
It hurts.
I think that there's a lot of differences, of course, but the artist is like the privileged prostitution, because we also have to like donate our energy, our brains, and our feelings, and etc. And as a producer, I'm trying to think about the structure of the scene, and the label, the independent label on MAMBA Hack and many other independent labels are really important, because that is the professionalization and the possibility of monetization of the work of many independent artists that doesn't have the know-how of registering a song or doing this with the digital distribution. So that's what I think that's a kind of structure that MAMBA is trying to build, because we don't have it. We only have like the super mainstream or nothing, you know, like we that in this between, we are like the mainstream for underground, so we're nobody.
Yeah.
So in the end, we're nobody. So I'm trying to focus on this stuff, and to think also that not doing anything it's a right, actually, and it's revolutionary also, because we are in this productivity age, and somehow this crisis of COVID puts in evidence many of the contradictions of the capitalism and the neoliberalism. And I'm also a pessimistic, like Karen said. I don't think that things are going to get better. On the contrary, but I think that I have the duty, for all the privileges that I have the conditions and the duty to generate energy and pulsate it and help the ones that are daily on our routine, on our lives, on our hearts, and etc. Because I always believe that my job as an artist wouldn't make sense if it was alone, all by myself. I clearly can see how these performers, how these women, how these trans people are inside of me, inspiring what I do, and we're inspirations and we are strengths for each other. So I want to thank you all really a lot. It's really special for me also to see you guys in this situation. And have
when this shit is over, please, all of you guys from the parties, do a party in the street, like everyone naked and speeding in the middle of the street.
Yes, but I'm thinking that it's gonna take some time, Saskia.
I know.
Maybe next Carnaval.
I'm gonna get naked in the street.
Right, Karen?
Next September.
When can we party, Karen Cunha?
Fingers
Hein, Karen Cunha?
Don't respond to that. I don't
No,
want to know.
just to give me a date, Karen. When we're going to do the party, the fucking MAMBA Negra aniversário.
I don't think it's going to end soon, but
Yes.
fingers crossed.
Yes, let's think that maybe we will have a happy new year, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, so girls and meninas, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you.
really great. And we spoke a lot, so sorry guys from Maria.
And for you foreign people with money, help the fucking Brazil. You should help Brazil.
Artistry in Brazil.
People need to survive here. Yeah.
Antes da gente terminar,
Before we end,
eu queria falar sobre para vocês ficarem ligados,
we wanted to say for you to stay tuned
porque agora em maio
because now in May
nós vamos ter uma nova edição do Festival MARSHA.
is gonna happen a new edition of MARSHA Festival.
Dessa vez em parceria com o
MARSHA!
Centro Cultural de São Paulo.
This time in partnership with CCSP, Centro Cultural São Paulo.
Centro Cultural São Paulo. Vocês ingleses que não entenderam, procurem saber.
Ei, querida, tá boa!
Amazing.
Love you guys. Love you guys.
Stay tuned because the program is full of
Thank
new
you.
things.
I'll be there.
Connecting and
Thank
helping.
you, Maricas. Thank you, Barcelona. I hope you're doing fine by now. And I hate to say best energies, but let's fight together.
It's the time. It's the time.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you guys.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.